the launch of player housing in World of Warcraft, I mean, it's one of those classic moments where the community predictably just erupted.
It absolutely did.
This is a feature people have been asking for, what, 15 years? And when it finally gets here, it just immediately kicks off this huge, passionate, and honestly, a really contradictory debate.
Exactly. And if you've just been, skimming Reddit or Twitter, you might think the entire player base is either holding a parade or staging a digital riot.
Right, one or the other.
But the sources we've gathered, all the community discussions, they really show something much more nuanced.
So that's our mission today. We want to get some clarity. We're diving deep into that whole conversation to understand the three really distinct reactions. You have the enthusiasts, the fierce skeptics, and then this huge group that's just deeply indifferent. We want to figure out what the drama is really about.
Is it about functionality? Or is it something deeper, like that anxiety over developer time?
Exactly. We need to look past just the surface noise, the simple likes and dislikes. This deep dive is about decoding the philosophical splits that a feature like housing exposes in a game this old.
And this massive. Let's start with the reaction that I think surprised both of us the most.
Okay, let's do it. Let's pull the thread on the most counterintuitive finding, which is this claim that the entire debate is basically manufactured.
That's right. The first major response we saw from a huge chunk of the community wasn't rage or joy, it was just apathy. Apathy toward the conversation itself.
Like they don't even care about the argument.
No. We saw these repeated claims that the supposed widespread outrage is just engagement bait.
Pushed by content creators who need the controversy to get clicks.
Precisely. And it leads to this really striking quote we saw a few times where people argue that, and this is a quote, nobody normal has a problem with housing.
The meta-drama about the drama.
Yeah.
But that viewpoint, it's fascinating, isn't it? It's both dismissive but also really illustrative.
It is. I mean, who gets to define what a normal player is in a game with millions of people?
Right.
But it perfectly highlights the perspective of that, silent majority who just don't care one way or the other.
Yeah, we're talking about the PvP fanatics who log in, they push their ratings, and they've never even opened the housing tutorial.
Or the 20-year veterans, the raiders who look at it and just go,
super that it exists. I'm glad some people like it, but it is not for me. Total indifference.
And if we frame it that way, against the game's whole structure, that indifference is actually a strength. It's not a weakness.
How so?
Well, WoW today is just so enormous. It has so many parallel end games. You've got transmog, pet battles, Mythic plus Nell, raiding PvP. You can play for years and never touch half the content.
That's true.
So housing is just another one of those massive pillars, and the apathy from one group just means they're happily busy somewhere else. The system doesn't need everyone to buy in to be a success for its audience.
That's a great point. It's really a testament to the sheer scale of the world. But okay, that brings us to the players who aren't indifferent. They're definitely skeptical.
Right. They genuinely don't connect with the system.
And for them, it seems like a very practical choice based on just how they play the game.
Yeah, their skepticism often boils down to two things: visibility and utility. They look at the effort it takes to build and decorate a house.
And they compare it to something they already love, like collecting mounts or transmog.
Exactly. With transmog, you see the results of your hard work on your character all the time, whether you're in a raid or just flying across a zone.
It's instant gratification, constant validation.
But with a house, they feel like they're building this amazing thing that just exists in a separate, instanced pocket of the world. They're asking, why spend 40 hours designing a perfect kitchen when I'll only look at it for 10 minutes a week?
Yeah, the time investment feels totally disproportionate to how much they'll actually see it.
And then there's the other part, the honest admission around creativity.
Oh, this one hit home for me. I can barely arrange my inventory, so I totally get the creativity hurdle.
We saw so many players saying things like, I am not creative, I see people do amazing things with custom lighting, and I can't even set a table to look nice.
The sheer freedom is overwhelming.
It's a real barrier to entry for a lot of people. I mean, WoW traditionally is great at giving you structured paths. Here's the goal, here's the currency, here's the reward.
Right.
Housing just says, here's a giant sandbox, go wild. And for players who are used to that structure, that limitless possibility, it just translates into paralysis. They need some guidance.
And this leads right into the whole expectation mismatch, doesn't it? It wasn't that the skeptics hated the idea of housing.
Not at all.
They just wanted something different, something more goal-oriented.
Yes, a lot of them were hoping for a system that was closer to, say, RuneScape's player-owned houses. They wanted clear, structured benefits.
Like functional item racks or portals to specific cities?
Exactly. Utility rooms, maybe some simple mini-games you could build into the house. They were looking for clear structures or challenges.
They wanted things you do in the house, not just things you put in the house.
Precisely. What they got was this massive tool set for pure creative decoration. You know, everything is possible. But for players who thrive on measurable progress, that just feels like there are no mandatory tasks.
And if it's not mandatory, for their playstyle, it just falls by the wayside.
Right.
But let's flip that perspective completely, because on the other side of this, you have the absolute enthusiasts. And this is where it gets really interesting. These are the passionate players who waited over a decade for this. And they see this system not as some optional side thing, but as essential core endgame content.
For this group, the whole process, finding items, decorating, building, they genuinely describe it as the most relaxing and creative thing WoW has offered in years. The lack of pressure is the appeal.
They're not worried about DPS checks or their rotation.
Not at all. And we've seen this in other huge online games, right? We looked at examples from Final Fantasy 14, from Anso, even survival games like Valheim. In those communities, housing is a core gameplay loop.
It's not just cosmetic.
No, and what really defines their philosophy is simple. They don't need that external validation. They aren't looking for a quest giver to justify their time. They're spending hours crafting these amazing personal spaces.
Like those anecdotes we saw. Building custom breweries, or creating haunted basements with fog effects.
Or figuring out how to tuck a giant furnace under a staircase using just some structural pieces. It's incredible.
The goal is the creation itself.
Their core motto is just so succinct and perfect. I don't need rewards. The freedom of creation itself is the reward. It's pure self-expression as content. And for some players, that's the whole reason they came back to the game.
That's a beautiful sentiment, but, stepping back. Doesn't the game publisher need more than just sentiment to justify spending all those resources? I mean, if a huge chunk of players is indifferent and another chunk sees it as optional, does a feature like this sustain itself?
That's a valid business tension for sure. But what's fascinating is that this niche fulfills a need that raids or PvP simply cannot. It's a retention lever for players who want to engage with the world socially or creatively, completely outside the competitive meta.
So if it keeps even, say, 10% of the player base subscribed just for that reason, it pays for itself.
Potentially, yeah. But that concern over resources, that leads us directly to the most sensitive issue in this entire debate.
The allocation of developer resources. This is the core worry. It underpins so much of the negative feedback, way more than whether the furniture looks nice or not.
Absolutely. Players aren't really complaining about the quality of the housing system itself. They're worried about the opportunity cost. They see development time as a zero-sum game.
So the fear is that housing a time that could have gone into the systems they value more.
Right. Core competitive stuff, PvP balance, new Mythic Plus affixes, more frequent raids, or even smaller evergreen systems like pet battles.
The anxiety is really a fear of content dilution across the board.
It is. The sources gave us this great, darkly humorous example of this fear. It was about gear aesthetics. Someone said, if the next tier set is ugly because someone wanted more house curtains, I'm gonna break down.
And that just perfectly illustrates the nervousness, doesn't it?
It's not about hating the house, it's about protecting the systems they rely on for their main engagement with the game.
So this resource concern brings us right back to the question of utility. If you build a house, should there be a practical reason to go back?
And opinions are completely polarized here. Viewpoint A argues fiercely for strictly cosmetic housing.
They're shouting zero power creep, zero garrisons 2.0.
Exactly. And for listeners who maybe weren't around for Warlords of Draenor, the garrison was this mandatory personal fortress. It was so necessary for player power and gold that it basically forced everyone into a solitary hub.
A lot of people felt it just cannibalized the social element of the main cities.
It really did. So they want housing to be the absolute opposite of that forced engagement.
But then you have Viewpoint B, which argues you need some reason to return, even if it's small and not power-based.
Otherwise, it just gathers digital dust, right? They want subtle utility, maybe unique cooking access, special item displays, anything that encourages a quick weekly visit without feeling like a chore.
This was where looking at those other games is so useful again. In old school RuneScape, the functionality is all about convenience, not power.
Right. Kitchens for specific foods, trophy racks, mini games. Final Fantasy XIV uses housing for social events, unique pet spots, guild halls.
They all found ways to weave function into the aesthetic without granting power.
And we should note, WoW is already moving a little bit in that direction, even though the system is new. We've seen kitchens and furnaces added.
And there's the promise of future endeavors tied to the house. What exactly are those?
Endeavors are basically non-power-based microtasks. They might be dailies or weeklies. Things like hosting friends for a drink, or crafting a specific non-essential item, or displaying a new trophy.
Just little things to give you a light reason to engage.
Exactly. Without creating a mandatory feedback loop, it suggests the developers are actively trying to bridge that utility gap.
That makes perfect sense for balancing the needs of both groups. Now, what about the competitive edge? Because even the most laid-back creative systems often attract some kind of competition.
And the irony here is just so rich, because WoW players have been joking about world-first kitchens sarcastically for years.
The idea of competing over home decor sounds absurd in a game focused on raiding and esports.
But the reality in other games is that aesthetic competition is a huge deal. In FFXIV and ESO, there are real house-building contests. They're judged on creativity, symmetry, atmosphere.
And some guilds treat house design as a serious endgame activity.
They absolutely do. It becomes its own kind of gameplay, where the resource is creativity and the reward is recognition.
So the general WoW consensus seems to be against power-driven competition, right?
Yeah.
That no one wants a world-first kitchen achievement that gives you better loot.
Oh, definitely not. But the idea of non-power-based rivalry, like community showcases, or maybe a limited-time judging event for the best tavern, that's seen as acceptable, even desirable by some of the more aesthetic-focused players.
Okay, so let's tie all these threads together. We have the indifferent, we have the skeptics who want utility, and the enthusiasts who want pure creative freedom.
All while this big cloud of resource anxiety hangs over the whole discussion.
So what's the big takeaway?
At the end of the day, I think what it all boils down to is this. WoW isn't one single game anymore. It's a collection of many different games all played under one subscription.
You've got raiders, M+ runners, PvP fanatics, pet battlers, transmog collectors, role players.
Exactly. And the whole discussion shows that no single feature needs to appeal to every single one of those playstyles.
Housing is just another facet of this enormous game. It gives you a completely different reward loop. It's about pure joy, and it's totally independent of your DPS, your item level, or the current meta.
And that low-pressure outlet is what makes it so valuable. It is a completely valid way for you, the listener, to engage with it once during the tutorial and then never look back.
Or, on the flip side, to dedicate hundreds of hours to building your dream virtual inn. Both are perfectly fine ways to play.
It's okay if you leave housing behind after the tutorial, or if you spend your entire playtime meticulously decorating that haunted basement. It all counts as engaging with the game on your own terms.
So here's the provocative question for you to think about as we wrap up this deep dive.
Given these extreme viewpoints, the demand for function, the fear of resource depletion, the desire for recognition, what is the single missing element? What's the one thing that would convert a practical skeptic into a devoted enthusiast?
Is it more functionality? Is it a competitive outlet? Or is it just more time for the player base to find its footing?
That's the real puzzle. Where do you stand? Are you firmly team love housing, team not for me? Or are you maybe holding out for the promise of those functional endeavors and a truly working brewery in your virtual basement?
Let us know what you think. Until next time.